This is David Kurtz for TPM Media. We're at the Brown Palace Hotel in downtown Denver on Tuesday, the second day of the convention. Going on in the ballroom adjacent to me here is a Huffington Post-sponsored report moderated by Charlie Rose on new media. We'll hope to be bringing you some interviews from after that in a little while. But in the meantime, we wanted to recap for you a little bit about what's happened over the last day. But I wanted also to talk a little bit about the technology we're using to make these videos possible. You can probably tell that the quality is the same as what we normally put on the site, and that's because we're using a quick phone, which allows us to stream live or virtually live video. But in order to do that, it requires a somewhat lower resolution. So the videos that we've been putting up the last couple of days are shot with a little Nokia camera phone that allows us essentially to connect either with the internet or preferably wirelessly to a wireless network that allows streaming video. So the resolution's not as great, but it gets stuff up a lot quicker. We can get videos to you either while we're doing them or shortly thereafter within just a few minutes. So we were able to shoot last night from the convention floor using the camera and seemed to work well. Our first interview was with Senator Jim Webb of Virginia, and we asked him a little bit about what Obama has to do to appeal to and win over Appalachian voters in Western Virginia, where he's had some problems in the primaries. Take a look. Virginia is obviously a big state in this election. Give me your sense of how Virginia is likely to go, particularly the Appalachian region, which has been a problem for Senator Obama.
Well, I think Virginia is very much in play. And I think if you look at the demographics of Virginia, they're kind of a microcosm of the country. That from Northern Virginia is very high-tech, a lot of in-migration, immigration, all the way to Southwest Virginia, which is very rural, red state. But the Norfolk area, Hampton Roads area, has got a lot of military people and retired military people. Richmond down through Southside, very heavily African American. So it's an interesting reflection of the country writ large. With the voter registration in these primaries, I think that the Democratic Party is very well positioned. It'll turn on. The decision will be made basically on how many people come out to vote. And South Side, as much as Southwest, the area, the old manufacturing area down there that was hit so hard, where Barack Obama's now been twice, may be the deciding area in Virginia.
A little later in the evening, we were able to catch up with Paul Begala, the former Clinton advisor who now works as an analyst for CNN, and we asked him about whether Obama could bat hard enough. Take a look.
I have a 7-point plan for uniting the party. Attack, 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 attack.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because there's been a lot of discussion on the Republican side about Obama wanting to get out of Iraq for political reasons, for personal ambition. Do you feel like the Obama campaign has been hitting back hard enough on those?
I never think anybody hits back hard enough. And it's not about hitting back. It's about hitting first. There's a big myth in my party that we should do better at rapid response. No, we should do better at rapid attack. They ruined the country in their first term. They ruined the world in their second. Don't we have a right to attack instead of simply respond? I'm a George S. Patton Democrat. He said the purpose of war is not to die for your country, to make the other son of a bitch die for his country. The purpose of the campaign is not to answer their attacks, it's to make them answer our attacks.
And so is Joe Biden a good choice in your opinion in that regard?
There could not be a better choice. And I'm glad he brings gravitas, experience, and foreign policy. That's fine. You know what he really brings? Street smarts. I think the speech he gave on a couple of hours' notice is the best speech of the general election so far.
By anybody.
By anybody. By Barack, by Hillary, in the general election, okay? I think in the primaries, both Hillary and Barack did some incredible speech making. But for the general election, which is basically from June to today, I haven't seen anybody do a better job than Joe did. He put the wood to them, but he did it both with fire and a smile, and I couldn't be happy.
Remind you of anybody?
Yeah, but he's Joe Biden. He is very generous, and I could not be happier with how he performed. And that's a model for all the rest of us. All right, people like me who, flap our jaws. I sat there and watched that, and nodded my head and took notes, and I said, yes, sir.
What is coming out of this in the next 2 weeks? What would you anticipate seeing? What would you want to see in terms of poll results, changes?
It's going to take some time because they go right into their convention, which I do think will, suppress any big bounce. You'll never have another 92 where Clinton got like a 27-point bounce. Thoreau got out of the race. It was a totally a once-in-a-lifetime situation. I think you'll have to let this play out. I think it's very smart because the day after the convention, Barack's going to Southwest Pennsylvania, right where those blue-collar working-class folks are. Washington County is what at least the governor of Pennsylvania was just saying on CNN. And we'll play this thing out over 70 days. But a relentless, sustained attack linking Bush and McCain and then posing Barack and Biden as the change alternative is what we need.
At the end of the evening, we were given a chance to bring our camera up onto the podium above where Michelle Obama was speaking as she wrapped up her speech, and it was similar to what she was looking at as she gave that speech. Here's a little bit of that now.
This is David Kurtz for TPM Media. We're just above the podium where Michelle Obama is giving her speech to the convention crowd, and if Ben will pan across the way there, you can pretty much see the same view that she has right now as she begins to wrap up her speech. So now you see Michelle and the girls exiting the stage. The girls looking a little overwhelmed by the whole thing, as you might expect.
So this is Tuesday of convention week. Tonight's featured speaker is Hillary Clinton, a big event on tap. Former Virginia Governor Mark Warner, who's running for Senate, will also be giving the keynote address, but obviously most of the eyes and ears will be on Hillary's speech tonight. As we were taking a cab down to pick up our press credentials this morning, the cab driver said to us, Hillary Clinton, isn't she a Republican? This is David Kurtz for TPM Media. We'll see you shortly.